Good morning, everyone. We are from the House of Kayanan presenting our informational podcast, Badingkaba, where we talk about anything LGBTQ+.
The goal of our informational campaign is to educate people and raise awareness regarding the current social issue regarding the stereotyping of Filipinos in the community.
Our campaign hopes to lessen discrimination and lessen unintentional acts of microaggression towards the community. Our campaign also intends to teach people how to respect the people in the community, especially with regards to their sexual orientations and gender identity. This is your podcast host, Ryuta Suwa, along with my super witty co-host.
Anna Avalon. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. In this week's episode, the introduction to the LGBTQ plus community, we'll be talking about their history, the different terms used, and their cultures. So stay tuned, whether you're in your house, you're in your car, maybe even the bathrooms for this exciting episode. So,
So,
Yuta!
before we
Hi!
begin, kamustahan muna tayo.
How
Siyempre,
are
students din
you?
naman tayo. It's like
Deal.
this Saturday morning and it's been pile up na rin yung mga requirements natin. So, kumusta? For those students listening out there, kasi it's been a few months na rin in this term 1 and I hope you guys there are doing fine or well at least. I mean, of course, it's stressful pa rin naman for us, but ikaw, Ana, any comments about your experiences so far in this term 1 of this academic school year?
No comment. Charot. Parang ano naman, okay naman siya. I just wanna say, charot. I just wanna say na huwag kayo magpapatambak talaga ng schoolworks and just do your job. Ay, as a student nga, tama, correct. Tama.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
wag daw magpapatambak ka, pero
ano
parang
ba?
parang
Dapat
ikaw
nga
hindi mo
hindi natin
na ano.
alam. Dapat di nila alam yan.
Okay, well, ayun, so far ako naman, it as a grade 12 student na ngayon, entering this term 1, so far it's been quite okay naman. Worry ko lang is kasi nung grade 11 ako, nung term 1 ako okay lang. Tapos nung nag-term 2, dun biglang humirap. So,
True, ako din. Tapos,
yung stat pro talaga. Pero, yun, sana
we
naman
don't
in
talk about
this,
stat pro.
anyways, pero sana dito naman in this school year, makasurvive naman tayo at least without breaking our mental health, no?
Siyempre, carry bells na natin. Hindi na siya katulad ng grade
Mhm.
11.
Yes. So, slowly transitioning to our main topic of our podcast. Where do we begin ba? History. Saan nga ba? Well, napapaisip din ako, paano nga ba nag-came to be yung concept ng LGBTQ, especially in this Philippines or even internationally? Kasi syempre, in other countries siya mostly parang paano ba? Mas napag-usapan and mas naging woke?
Oo. Parang feel ko nga na hindi siya, nung bata ko, never kung nalaman kung paano ba siya nagsimula dito. Tapos parang more internationally ko narinig kung paano siya nagsimula.
Oo, true. Parang nung una ko din siyang na-discover online. Ayun nga, more on in the international setting na lang talaga siya. Tapos recently lang, I guess, this few years ago, doon ko na slowly na notice yung representations ba and information about it in the media. But so far, you think ba sapat na yung mga information natin in the Philippine context, especially with regards to the LGBT contents?
Feel ko kailangan pa natin mag-expound dyan.
Ayun nga 'di ba? Kaya yun nga yung hope natin with and goal natin with our podcast where we try to
Yes.
um hindi naman parang more on inform people and share the
Mag-spread
content,
awareness. Ganon.
awareness, tama. So, pwede tayong magsimula sa background and introduction ng LGBT community. But let's start with the pre-colonial and colonial Philippines. more on the history and culture of the LGBT in our history and culture, kung saan ba may mga representations din siya kasi yun nga, hindi pala natin alam na in our ano ba, indigenous mga folklores and stuff, meron din palang mga ganong types of representation. So, let me just read this paragraph. The Babaylan, a priestess who was a wealth of knowledge and spirituality, is recognized as being the first instance of women and gender fluid men holding significant positions in Philippine society. Also, a few male babaylan known as asog were permitted to engage in homosexual relationships without social stigma. So, bakit naman ganon na may
Kaya nga.
ganito na palang mga representations
Ew.
pero parang discriminated pa rin siya. It's part of our culture na nga. Pero kung iisipin ko, it's in medyo, I guess ba, may separation with the culture talaga dito sa city ba? Yung sa atin, kung saan tayo nakalakihan. Kasi itong description na
Maybe.
to, it's more of the story of uh, the Babaylans. So, hindi
Mm-mm.
naman tayo masyadong immersed and well-informed about that. Pero in
Mm-mm.
a way, it's still part of our culture as Filipinos, as part of our
Oo.
indigenous our indigenous ancestors. So, what can you say about that information?
Feeling ko kasi, di ba nga, di ba pre-colonial to, tapos na-colonize tayo. So, parang yung mga teachings ng mga Spaniards,
Spanish,
yeah,
yes.
na like, di ba nga, na-colonize tayo. So, parang nag-adapt tayo sa culture nila. So, bali, yung atin, before them, yun, parang nakalimutan. Kaya parang, di ba nga
Mm-mm.
sabi nila na parang kaunti na lang yung text before the Spaniards kasi nga, well, you know
Parang,
what
parang
happened.
parang siguro medyo na overshadow in a way na influence. Yung colonial influence sa
Mm-mm.
atin, medyo may kalakihan. So with
Yeah.
that, pwede din eto, may isa pang description, which is a nice transition kasi it says here, the Spanish introduced the patriarchy and the masculine mentality, transforming gender bending into a mocked behavior from the indigenous patriarchal system. So ayun na yung explanation that goes in line with what you said actually, Anna.
Mm-hmm.
So it supports it. And eventually, even feminine men came to be ridiculed, creating local slang for what the Tagalogs refer to as bakla or gay man, which also meant confused and cowardly. European notions of sexuality and gender roles were further strengthened during the American colonial era, becoming ingrained in formal education. So yung term nga na yon na bakla, it's been uh, na may context na siya, or kapag narinig natin, it's like a form of offensive term na even
Yeah,
though it
parang
shouldn't be.
derogatory na siya pakinggan.
With other people, but it shouldn't be used like that, no,
Mm-mm.
in reality, kasi it's just a way to describe who we are, and we shouldn't put it side by side with the idea that it's used for negativity, no.
Mm-hmm. Pero we're, ano naman na, di ba, we're trying to reclaim that word into something more positive na.
Positive,
Rather than
yes.
parang negative na yung, di ba kasi, parang dati, yung term na bakla, bading, ginagamit siya pang asar sa mga
Oo.
kids, ganun. Tapos ngayon, parang mas, ano na tayo nun, mas commonly used na siya for something positive, which is so great na parang nagbago na yung pagkaka-turn out nitong term na to.
Like, oo, natatandaan ko din in, like, siguro nung elementary pa ako,
Mm.
whenever like people or yung mga boys use the term bakla, parang ewan ko, for me medyo scary kapag natatanggap ko yun, kasi yun nga, it's like offensive to me, and and just because I know that they have this idea na pang-asar ba siya, kumbaga,
Mm-mm.
and parang tinutokso ka nila, nakaka-degrade. And mabuti nga ngayon, like, dahil may ganong idea ako dati, like, recently, parang medyo na ano rin ako siyang, medyo nahihiya rin ako siyang gamitin, or kasi baka nga maging offensive, but usually these days, I also try to practice na to take that kind of mindset off and use it for something more positive.
Ayun. So,
Yes.
moving on naman sa 20th century. The home of the Golden Gays was founded in 1975 by gay rights campaigner Justo Justos soon after the Second World War. So, 'di ba? Isipin mo 'yun, meron pa talaga tayong representation kahit yun kasi yung alam natin kasi parang ano yung current lang na alam natin, hindi na yung paano isasabi ko yung parang ang alam nating representation yung nasa current era lang natin. Hindi natin
Mm-mm.
alam na meron din palang people before
Fighting,
us.
oo,
Yeah, fighting for our
for
rights.
their
Their rights.
rights. Their rights,
Oo,
yes.
correct. So, yung home of Golden Gays, it was supposedly meant to be a place for senior gay men who had been evicted from their families, usually since they were not making enough money to live. It has evolved into a welcoming community belonging to different and pleasant people, but unfortunately, the institution had to be shut down after Justo passed away in 2012. In the late 80s, women's movement, it marked a turning point in the lesbian community. Battles for public visibility, and lesbian issues are now included in the LGBT movement, which previously notably characterized lesbians as the feminine counterparts of homosexual men, and women's feminist studies, both of which were traditionally heterosexual. As a response, the lesbian community fought against the dictatorship by demanding to be heard, which is so tama of them.
So true.
Eventually, the underground women's group Makibaka issued a position paper talking about the issues concerning sexual orientation in the movement. The first National Lesbian Rights Conference, the Lesbian Collective, Lesbond, the media advocacy group Can't Live in the Closet, and other organizations were established due to the women's movement enhanced focus on the gender sexuality issue later in the 1990s. So
So, eto na
parang
yung
mm,
mga first organizations or like
oo.
groups that were forming to kind of establish and present or fight for their rights. Dito to, Philippine context to, di ba? Yung women's group Makibaka.
Yes, I think so, yung tama.
Yes. So this is the uh yung mga organizations that are starting, yung mga recently established women groups, no, concerning sexual orientation and
Mm-mm.
fighting for their movement and stuff. So moving on to the 21st century, the first LGBT Pride March held on June 26, 1994 to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Stonewall Riot stood out as one of the most significant events in the history of LGBT movements in the Philippines. The march was the first of its kind, not just in Asia but also in the Philippines. So ito pala yung date ng first LGBT Pride March, which was in June 26, 1994. Tagal-tagal na rin, no? Hindi pa,
Oo,
syempre,
ang
hindi
ilang
pa tayo
years na rin yan.
napapanganak.
Pero ang astig naman na parang nagkaroon din tayo ng Pride March pala dito. Akala ko kasi recently lang. Yung pala, ay, tinan mo, marami tayong natututunan bago kasi parang
Mm,
ang alam ko nga lang, recent lang yung Pride March. Pero like,
mm.
ang tagal na pala
Dati pa
sila
pala,
oo.
1994 pa nag-start. Parang
Mm-mm.
recently, ano ba, mga 2015 ko lang parang
Oo,
yung nagkaroon ako ng idea about it.
oo. Doon ko lang
Like
din siya
gusto,
narinig.
gusto ko, usually no sa ano to, Quezon City, no,
Oo,
dun
sa
sa
mga
QC Circle.
QC.
Pero Pero there are also pride marches, I believe, in other regions of the Philippines. Kasi syempre, kapag sa QC, sa Luzon lang siya. I think meron
Mm-mm.
din sa Visayas and Mindanao.
Mm-mm.
They're holding their own pride march. Pero I think it's different dates lang siya. Kasi recently nga this 2022, one ko rin sanang mag-attend ng Pride March kaso yun nga,
'Di ba?
layo.
Ang saya kasi niya talaga tignan. Tapos
Oo,
to see all the people na nagre-represent ng community, parang
yes, and
sobrang heartwarming gano'n.
yes, they're all gathering for their rights, no?
Correct. Okay, so next up we have the different sexualities, gender identity, and gender expression. So before we start doon, ano ba exactly ang sexuality, gender identity, and gender expression? Ang
Mm,
sexuality, it's your romantic and sexual preference towards
preference.
other people.
Mhm.
Ang gender identity is how you
How you identify yourself naman. It's
uh,
either you identify yourself as masculine, feminine, both, or neither. Yun yung gender identity. It's either of those four.
tapos ang gender expression is how you want to present
Present
yourself
yourself.
to others.
Mm-mm.
Correct.
How you want to present yourself siguro in terms of your clothing, sa galawan mo, or sa mga interests mo, ganun.
Okay. So, sa different sexualities muna tayo. First off,
Okay.
we have lesbian. Lesbians are people who identify as women who feels romantic and sexual attraction towards women or people who identify as women.
Women.
Gets ba?
So, yun. Women liking women.
Yeah,
As
so
simple as
pwede,
that.
yeah, pero ano yun na, people who identify as women. So, bale, pwedeng, pwedeng a bisexual woman can feel, tama naman no.
Oo.
Ay, tama naman no.
Mm-mm.
Ay, hindi, a
Continue.
lesbian woman pala.
Lesbian.
Ayun, tama,
Oo.
tama. Iba naman yun. Ang
Oo.
lesbian woman, okay, sorry, mali yung pronouns ko. Let's not assume. They
Oo,
can
they
feel attracted to a trans woman kasi trans women are people who identify as woman.
women. Mm-mm.
Women. So, yun, pwede siya. Tapos, ang gay naman, it's an umbrella term that describes a person who typically feels sexual and romantic attraction towards people of the same gender. Pero, we now use this term to refer to men who are romantically and sexually attracted to men din.
Men.
Bale, same description as lesbians, pero to men naman siya.
Oo. Like
Okay.
usually this nagagamit rin kasi yung term na gay as it kind of encompasses the whole community in a way. Pero specifically, yung definition talaga niya is loving men. Men who identifies as men and who loves the same gender. So other men nga, yun.
Next up, we have bisexuals.
Bisexual naman.
Yes, this means that a person can feel attraction towards two or more gender. So, ano ba bang pinagkaiba niya sa pansexual? Yung pansexual naman kasi, these are people who are sexually or romantically attracted towards people, regardless of their sex and gender identity.
Your identity.
Bale, ang bisexual, parang similar to pansexual na parang open din sila to other genders, pero may preference pa rin.
May pili pa rin sila.
So, bale,
as comparison to pansexual, lahat talaga in the community na regardless of their gender identity, they can feel romantic or sexual attraction to them. Kapag bisexual naman,
for example kasi, ang bisexual,
Mm.
someone who identifies as bisexual, they can feel attracted or they may feel attracted to people who are like, gender fluid, men or non-binary, pero hindi sila attracted or sexually or romantically to women. So,
Mm.
yun nga, may preference pa rin talaga sila sa gender na want nila.
Mm. It
Okay ba na?
kay
Gets ba yun?
generally kasi bisexual, it's by its textbook definition, it's like attraction with two or more genders. Pero usually kasi in our community, it is used, most people use it as attraction to like two genders lang. Pero yung in reality talaga two or more, pero may pili pa rin.
Yes.
Pero I guess mostly sa mga kakilala ko at least, usually they identify as bisexual. Tas yung preference nila is their same gender or the opposite.
Yeah, pero mas broad pa talaga siya more than that.
Oo.
Kaya, there are people na nalilito din sa pan at bi kasi nga yung definition nga nila ng bisexual. Yung man or, yung man or woman lang, parang ganun. Pero it's bigger than that. Next is,
Kaya usually dito nako-confuse yung mga yung mga nag-identify, yung tinatry mag-explore or malabel yung sarili nila kasi dito nga usually nagkakaroon ng confusion with either bisexual or pansexual sila. Basta like tandaan lang natin, pansexual lahat ng gender identities. Kapag bisexual, two or more. It's either male, female, or other gender identities, pero may pili ka pa rin hindi mo masyadong bet. Yun.
So, next is yung intersex. Basically, straight to the point lang siya. It is a person who is born with a combination of male and female biological traits.
Yeah. Ito naman kasi, this is more scientific naman.
Typical,
Kasi there are people talaga who are born na may, kunwari, for example, they are born with female genitalia, pero their chromosomes does not correspond to a female. Kapag female, 'di ba, I believe it's XX, no?
Double X.
Double X. Kapag male, XY.
XY, yeah.
May mga times kasi na some people have female genitalia pero they have a male chromosome. Basta it has something to do with science stuff and it's a little bit complicated. Basta may variations din talaga and nagkakaroon ng yun nga, parang mixture. But usually, it's completely normal for people. Like, they don't need to, it doesn't have any health implications when they are born like that. Nagkakaroon lang ng problema kapag siguro yung mga parents or doctors, they look at it as if they're broken or
parang
they're
problem
like,
na gano'n.
Oo, they're like problem or parang unsightly para sa kanila. Pero
kasi
in reality,
normal tignan.
hindi siya normal. So parang sometimes nagkakaroon ng surgery para matanggal yung genitalia na gano'n. Kahit sa totoo lang, hindi naman talaga kailangan kasi wala namang health related problem na ikamamatay niya. Like mabubuhay pa rin naman sila kahit ganun yung condition nila. Ayun. May mga ganung cases. Hindi lang siya, ito yung one of the least na alam and hindi siya masyadong, I guess, out for other people. Kasi syempre, mahirap din naman. It's complicated. Tapos i-explain mo pa sa mga tao, di nila magagets usually.
Tsaka feeling ko kasi kapag nga siya, yung in-explain mo pa siya, parang mabibirtuhan na talaga. Kasi nga parang, hindi naman kasi, unlike us, hindi naman lahat siguro kasing open-minded talaga. Meron talagang mga tao na,
Mm.
Yes.
Na baka maano ka pa na parang abnormal,
Di ba?
alien.
Yeah.
Oo, yun.
So, yon. Moving on, na naman, we have ROAs. These are people who experience no sexual or romantic attraction towards anyone, while others may experience varying degrees of sexual or romantic attraction toward other people. Bale, ang ROAs, it's a combination of asexual and
Aromantic. Aromantic.
aromantic. Ayun. Ang
Yes.
asexual kasi, yung definition niya, hindi sila nakakaramdam ng sexual attraction
Attraction.
towards people. Pero, pwede
Oo.
pa rin sila magkaroon ng romantic attraction, just not
Mm.
sexual. Tapos,
Mm.
yung aromantic,
Yung it's
tama ba yung
the opposite.
pagkaka-pronounce ko?
Tama. Aromantic. It's the opposite
Opposite.
naman.
Oo.
They may feel sexual attraction but
Pero not
not romantic.
physically.
Ano. Mm.
Tapos yung
Like
tawag nga doon, yung combination is ROAs.
ROAs.
Yes.
Kapag both sila ang parang not into the sexual part and not into the romantic aspect.
So similar to that, we have demi-romantic. Ang demi-romantic naman, these are people who do not feel romantic attraction. So parang same lang sa aromantic. Pero ang difference nila, kaya pa rin nilang mag-form ng romantic attraction. Pero need
Kailangan
nila
lang
ng strong emotional bond. Yes.
Kumbaga ba parang mas mataas yung requirement niya
ng demi.
for other people. Oo, ng mga demi.
Need nila parang kailangan talaga maging close na close pa sila.
Oo, hindi yung kasi 'di ba may mga cases na parang ang bilis ng progression, tas romantically attracted na agad, no? Tapos yung next one naman is demisexual.
Parang same lang din siya, pero
with sexual part naman.
Sexual part nga lang.
They may not feel the sexual desire or attraction. Kailangan talaga nila ng emotional bond para ma-feel yon.
So lastly, we have the questioning or the queer. People of all sexualities under the LGBTQIA+ umbrella may also identify as queer. Historically kasi, maraming gumagamit ng word na queer as slur, but people belong to the LGBTQIA+ communities are now using this term to reclaim it. Tapos, it's not generally not a good idea for people outside these communities to use this term kasi nga, nag-start off as a slur to insult.
May negative connotation siya. So like, it's Philippine counterpart.
Yung bakla at bading.
Yung word na queer. Yung bakla, bading.
Parang siyang ganun din.
Ganun yung, same sila ng effect na kapag nasabihan ka ng ganun, it's offensive, it's like a slur. Pero yun na nga yung chine-change natin or ng community na para mapalitan yung context na yun from a negative connotation to a more positive for people. Kasi hindi naman talaga nga dapat siya ginagamit as like pang-asar or pang-insulto ng mga ibang tao. Kasi it's their identity, bakit mo naman siya pagtatawanan or pang gagamitin panlait. So yun.
Yes. Ikaw na sunod yun.
Ako
for
na sunod
gender
dito.
Identities and expression.
Yes, eto naman, this is also kind of complicated. Basta kapag sinabi nating gender identities and expression, we're talking about we're talking about how if a person is more masculine, feminine, neither or both. Yung apat na yun. Basta it kind of moves within a scale. Yung parang scale niya ng masculinity, how masculine you are, or femininity, how feminine a person is. So starting with gender fluid. Its definition is a person who is gender fluid may always feel like a mix of the two traditional genders, but may feel more man some days and more woman other days. They have a shifting gender identity and can sometimes feel like a boy, girl, both, or neither. So, dito, yun nga, nag-shift siya. Depende sa mood and situation. So, yung gender fluid, ito yung parang, it encompasses the four things I said. The boy, girl, neither, and both. So, yung gender fluid, kahit ano siya dun sa apat na yun. Basta depende lang sa, parang feeling niya that day.
Oo, sa mood, di ba siya nagpapalit?
Mm-mm.
So, bali, siya, no? Parang, nag-co-exist silang lahat in a way.
Yeah.
Pero depende nga lang sa mood nila.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yes. Basta kapag gender fluid, it encompasses all of the four things I said. Kapag naman by gender, a person who fluctuates between a traditionally male and female gender-based behaviors and identities. This one naman, it's only masculine and feminine. Hindi siya nagna-neither or pero actually pwede siyang maging both at the same time. So, para siyang gender fluid pero wala lang yung neither na aspect. So,
ang alam ko kasi sa bi-gender, ano siya parang similar din sa gender fluid, pero yun nga, male at female. Tapos, nag-coexist yung dalawa, pero parang minsan, parang nagpa-fluctuate yung pagiging male, so parang mas mataas yung female identity nila. Pero hindi siya by mood. Parang, yun nga, depende kasi talaga siya. Yung gender fluid kasi alam ko by feeling siya.
Yes. So more fixed siya as compared to gender fluid.
Yes.
Ganon.
Feeling ko mas fixed siya.
Kapag naman androgynous, it is a person who identifies as or presents themselves as both masculine or feminine or between masculine and feminine. Ito naman kasi, it's more of a gender expression, how they present themselves. Kasi yung term na androgynous, it's usually used as an adjective for people.
To describe appearances, no?
Yung kung paano nila pinapresent. Kasi di ba minsan may mga nakikita tayong tao na, uy, ang ganda, pero parang ang pogi mo rin, no? Parang hindi ka sure. Like, minsan, may makikita ka mukhang babae pero at the same time lalaki. Basta yun, both siya. Yung transgender naman, it's someone whose gender identity or gender expression does not correspond with their sex assigned at birth. So basically, if pinanganak kang lalaki pero feel mo na babae ka, transgender ka. Pero it does not mean na parang kailangan mag-transition para ma-consider as transgender. So, etong transgender, more one way siya. Yung bi-gender kasi and gender fluid, it can go both ways.
Pwede siyang magpa-change.
Magpalit-palit, oo. Pwede siya magpalit-palit. Yung transgender, one way lang talaga.
Yes. Parang isang line lang siya.
Basta one arrow. Yes. Kapag naman non-binary or genderqueer, it means a gender identity and an umbrella term for people whose gender identity falls outside the binary of female and male. Some people don't identify fully with the gender they are assigned at birth, and others have no gender at all. This one naman is more of a it's a gender expression, pero it's more general kasi it kind of encompasses everything na sinabi ko kanina. Yun, like they're like everything talaga. It's like in a way an umbrella term. Yung isa pa is, next one is agender. Or agender, I mean.
Agender.
Agender is a person who identifies as not having a gender or identifying with any gender. They may describe themselves as being gender neutral or genderless. So dito naman yung neither.
Neither. Isa lang
Neither
siya.
sila.
Neither lang talaga.
Oo, like they're not male, they're not female. They are ayun nga, neither male or female. Kaya sila gender neutral or genderless. And then yung pinaka last one is the cisgender. Ito yung pinaka simple and ito yung pinaka marami or pinaka dominant in our society, I guess. Kasi a cisgender is a person whose gender identity and biological sex assigned at birth are the same. So in simplest terms, lahat ng straight cisgender. Kasi their gender, lahat ng straight cisgender. Kasi yung gender identity nila male. Kunwari ako, gender identity ko male. Kasi yung biological assignment male din. So cisgender. Pero cisgender din yung gays and lesbians. Kung yung gender assignment nila at birth ay nagko-correspond.
Nagko-correspond pa rin.
Oo.
Okay. Gets ko siya medyo.
Kapag gay, kunwari ako, gay. And I was born a male with a male genitalia and I identify as male. Cisgender yon.
Okay.
I can be cisgender and gay at the same time. Kasi iba naman yung sexuality sa
gender identity and expression.
Yes.
Okay. Gets.
Same with lesbian. Kapag kunwari, ikaw, pinanganak kang biologically female and you identify as a female, cisgender ka. Pero pwede ka rin maging bi or lesbian while being cisgender.
Okay. Very, siya. Yung gender kasi, medyo nakakalito. Pero if you really try to understand, feeling ko magigets naman siya talaga ng lahat. Pero kasi, ano ba may sinabi ka about that na parang, siya?
Yung mga terms kasi nito, it nagkakalituhan and there are like multiple terms na yun pala same meaning. And you know how language is naman, it evolves over time. Nag-iiba yung meaning, some people correspond other meaning towards it. Kaya maybe in the future this information may not be as up to date. So let's just kaya talaga complicated siya kasi nag-iiba-iba and may maraming overlapping and crossroads sa mga definitions nila. Kaya rin I think nahihirapan yung ibang members sa community na i-identify yung sarili nila kasi in itself talagang ang hirap intindihin.
Confusing talaga kasi nga very broad.
Broad and yun nga, the definition itself is hard to understand. Yung confused ka na nga sa sarili mo, confused ka pa sa definitions.
Lalo na talaga yung minention namin kanina sa bisexual at pansexual. Kasi
pansexual.
Pati kaming dalawa, nalito kami dyan.
Oo. Kasi yung usually kasi yung mga tao kapag bisexual, it's either they're attracted to their own gender and to the opposite gender. Yung pala, pwede ring iba, pero may ibang specific ones na hindi nila masyadong bet. So yun. I hope this type of explanation helps with other people, not only with educating people outside but as well as part of the people who's part of the community na sana mas maging confident sila with identifying themselves para mas madalian sila sa buhay nila.
Tsaka para dun sa mga confused pa before pero medyo na-gets na nila ngayon. Dahil
sana makatulong po explanation
naman siya. Real. So, ayun. Moving on sa culture naman ng LGBTQIA+. First, we have their language or also known as gay lingos. Sword speak or gay lingo is a unique slang coined by the Filipino male gay community as a form of anti-language. The community uses gay lingo as a secret language due to oppression experienced by homosexuals. So,
Mm.
para siyang mga codes para hindi sila ma-out sa nila, sa mga
Sa
unsafe
mga
spaces for them.
oo.
Ano ba yung mga
Kasi
terminology na alam mo? Kasi,
gay lingo term. Yung mga usual kasi yung mga gay lingo, yun nga,
like,
yung mga ginagamit natin usually ngayon. 'Di ba? Gay lingo is charot is also gay
yeah,
lingo.
charot actually. Like, ang daming gay lingo na na-incorporate na in our usual way of talking. Like, yung jowa actually originated from gay lingo. Yung
Ooh.
mga dami mong hanash, yun, sa kanila din yun. Tapos yung beshi, kabog, momshi, yun. Like, ang dami talagang terms na ginagamit natin ngayon. Galing pala sila
Mm.
sa gay lingo. Ano pa bang
Mga
mga alam mo? Yung yung lagi ko
bob bob
sinasabi, mga carry natin yan,
carry
carry bells, mga
carry.
ganun. Which means,
Mm.
kayang-kaya or
Kaya,
okay.
kayang-kaya, oo. Tapos yung mga iba naman, di ba, babush, goodbye,
Oo,
itesh.
yeah.
Yung
Ano?
more on yung talagang, hindi kasi siya, ako kasi I don't usually use those types of terms much eh. Parang mga hanggang charot lang ako eh.
Oo. Ako kasi, parang every time, like, in general, lagi ko talaga siyang ginagamit. Kasi, wala parang, ang feeling ko kasi, hindi naman siya exclusively, parang dati siguro, pero ngayon parang mas naging open-minded na nga ang mga tao. And mas
Mm-mm.
slowly natin na-adapt na yung yung language nila in our current society.
Oo,
Ganon.
oo. Kasi yun nga, dati, kapag kunwari gumagamit ka ng mga gay lingues, automatic i-assume na nila na bakla ka or lesbian, na part of the
Mm.
community ka. Pero ngayon nga, hindi, like we said, it isn't exclusively for the LGBT community. Like, other people, even heterosexual people can use that terms.
Mm.
Kaya minsan, naiinis ako kapag sinasabi na gumagamit sila ng mga terms na gano'n, tapos i-assume na agad nila na
Oo,
bakla
na
sila or what.
bakla sila.
Doon ako medyo natitrigger kasi I don't like people assuming someone's sexuality or gender identity, especially kapag gumamit lang ng mga terms na ganun.
Tsaka
I
kasi,
mean,
di
it's
ba,
mm.
ayan, we've talking about this as stereotyping, pero kasi,
Oo.
magdadagdag lang ako, may stereotyping episode kami, so stay tuned for that. Pero, ang dadagdag ko lang na, pag kasi ang mga tao, parang nakita, like, lalo na sa Philippine setting, di ba, when you're a guy, tas medyo feminine ang nature
Galawan
mo.
mo.
Oo,
Oo.
galang. Ang iisipin na agad nila na bakla ka, which is like so wrong to assume naman na
Mm.
fruity ka dahil lang sa pag-express mo sa sarili mo. Kaya nga, 'di ba, ang sexuality doesn't equate to gender. It's
Mm.
entirely up to you pa rin.
Oo, lalo na yung parang red flag ka na kaagad kapag nag-assume ka ng gender or sexuality ng ibang tao. Tapos yun na agad yung i-assign mo sa kanila. Dapat sila
Mm.
yung magsasabi sa'yo, hindi yung ikaw yung magsasabi. Pero yun nga,
Parang,
more about that in
in our
oo.
stereotyping episode, which is
Yes.
on this Friday. So,
Yes, sir.
stay tuned for
Episode 2.
that. So, ayun. Ano pa yung
Then,
mga rights nila?
ayun nga, more on talking more about the laws we are trying to or the community is trying to fight for in the Philippines. So yung pinaka-famous or notable talaga ngayon is the SOGI bill, which
Fuji
is an
Bill.
acronym for sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. The SOGI bill, which was proposed way back in 2000, is a bill that seeks to end gender-based discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Miriam Defensor Santiago and Eta Rosales who initially filed the bill. So alam naman natin na famous personality or
Si Miriam.
si Miriam Defensor Santiago, madami pa nga
Mm-mm.
siyang mga titles na binabanyag sa kanya. So
Like,
Miriam Defensor Santiago has been
oo.
known of like with a lot of names. For example, Dragon Lady, the Platinum
Mm-hmm.
Lady, the Incorruptible Lady, the
Damn.
Impregnable Lady, Feisty
Mm-mm.
Senator, the Doctor of All Laws, the Omniscient Woman,
I
and the most
bet.
popularly, the Iron Lady of Asia. Oh, yun, 'di ba? At
Slay.
buong Asia pa siya,
Oo, buong
uh,
Asia, like Asia.
pa siya
And Asia's like
known.
so big.
Yes. So to have like someone who's this influential to have proposed this bill, we know na she has this vision that na parang a group of people are stripped of their rights,
Mm-hmm.
are discriminated for their sexual orientation and gender identities. Kaya this is what this bill seeks to achieve, no? To remove the discrimination kasi madami pa nga in this time, no? So, the current version is backed by Geraldine Roman, Tom Villarin, and Risa Hontiveros. The SOGI bill recognizes the rights of every person regardless of their sex, gender, age, class, status, disability, religion, and political beliefs. This law, which has yet to be passed, protects the LGBTQI+ community and from discrimination, hate crimes, and harassment, and provides them with equal opportunities. Those who identify as heterosexual are also provided the same rights and protection under this law. In 2019, the SOGI bill became the longest-running bill under the Senate interpellation period. Government officials still question the SOGI equality. So yun nga, it's been a bill since the year
2000s,
2000.
diba?
So
That's been 22 years.
22 years na.
Counting. Pwede pa yan. Like, sana talaga mapasa siya. For
Oo.
the community's rights. Kasi hindi lang naman ang mga LGBTQ+ ang pinoprotektahan nila, but also the
Oo.
heterosexuals. So,
Yun nga, kaya
in a way, wala talagang parang
walang mag-discriminate dito. Lahat
lahat
ng tao.
magbe-benefit.
Oo.
Magbe-benefit yan.
Kasi yun nga, it provides equal opportunity for everyone. Who wouldn't want that?
That's right. Tsaka, they're fighting for equality and the protection of their rights. Para lang, 'di ba, as humans, parang lahat naman tayo may karapatan. And sa tagal nang na-oppress ang LGBTQ+ community, it's their time naman, 'di ba? Kasi, 'di ba, parang like kahit sabihin mong mas open-minded na tayo ngayon, there's still people in the LGBTQ+ community na nakakaranas ng discrimination. Like, there are some people na nawawalan pa rin ng trabaho kasi, yun nga, pag naalaman na
they're part of the community tapos sasabihin nila, it doesn't align with our community standards.
Yeah, ganun. So, parang,
ano bang ginawa kong mali? Ginagawa ko naman yung trabaho nyo.
Like,
diba?
Parang hindi naman sila, they're no different to heterosexuals kasi they're just openly expressing yung preference nila, yung gender nila. So, parang wala naman silang tinatapakan. And, kaya importante talaga tong bill na to. Ako, actively, I want this bill to be, to pass. Oo.
Kasi, like, madami talaga for a lot of people, opportunities that are stripped away from them because of this discrimination. Like, hindi lang naman kasi baka hindi na iisip ng mga ibang tao yung ano ba, the severity or yung impact nito sa mga tao. Like hindi lang naman to sa kumbaga para hindi mo sila ma-discriminate. It also tackles about things in the law na malaking bagay talaga for them. Lalo na yung I think I'm not sure if this bill also falls under the yung anong tawag doon, same-sex civil union, yung rights
Mm.
nun. Kasi 'di ba, may mga benefits din yung mga nagpapakasal, 'di ba? Like mga
Mm.
loans and stuff that give them benefits, especially kapag nagkaroon sila ng anak, may mga
Mm.
benefits sila from the government. So, yung mga heterosexual people lang ang nakaka-experience ng mga ganong benefits because they're like protected and provided by the government and the law. Paano kung gusto rin ng LGBT, someone from the LGBT community ng ganong type of benefits?
Yeah.
Since hindi na sila traditional heterosexual conforming to the society,
Mm-hmm.
and hindi nila makukuha yung mga ganong benefits, syempre mas maghihirap sila. Mas mahirap yung, in general, yung buhay sa kanila kasi yung mga ibang heterosexual, they receive these benefits from the law. Yun nga. I'm not sure if it's also part of this bill, but I hope if this bill pass, makasama na rin yun. Like, hindi lang sa mga like companies and stuff, sa mga workforces.
Yeah,
Ayun.
kasi minibigyan din sila ng chance sa access to hospital services and
Oo, yun din.
other facilities na hindi sila nadi-discriminate. Hey,
Healthcare din.
yeah, healthcare. Tsaka yung yung pakikitungo,
Insurance tawag dun, di ba?
insurance. Tsaka yung
Adulting na kasi.
maiiwasan rin yung pakikitungo na masama sa kanila ng ibang tao. Kasi,
Mm-mm.
yun. Ay, have you heard na ba yung Heterosexual Act of 2022?
Oo, ito yung recent lang na nakita ko sa Twitter.
Oo.
Like, oy, trending. Ano tong heterosexual act? Is this like a
Oo.
meme or something? Tapos yung
So,
pala, nung pinindot ko,
yeah, real pala siya.
nabasa ko yung mga stuff doon. And yes, you
So,
can explain it.
so for those of you who do not know about the Heterosexual Act of 2022, Bienvenido Abante of Manila filed a bill regarding the recognition and protection of rights of heterosexual individuals. This bill allow heterosexuals to express their thoughts on homosexuality and the LGBTQI plus community based on religious beliefs. Parang, for me, personally, I don't think this is necessary kasi as we have said nga, ang SOGI bill, kasama ng heterosexuals doon. Diba? And parang,
Oo.
ano pa bang, parang sa bill na to, parang akala mo oppressed sila.
Yes.
Akala mo naman. Joke lang.
Like,
Pero real naman talaga. Parang, diba, parang, sa tagal-tagal ng, alam mo, sige, no comment. Charot. Ano bang masasabi mo? Ano bang masasabi mo?
Nakaka-ano nga talaga to. Like, it's like in a way, this is, ayun nga, this is like their way of saying they don't want this, the SOGI bill to pass. Na parang, it's like a slap in the face na parang hindi nila ipapass yung SOGI bill. Pero yung Heterosexual Act, which explains na parang it gives recognition. Sa nabasa ko kasi, it gives like rights to the heterosexual people. Nung binabasa ko talaga siya, it sounds like really stupid. Kasi nga, para namang oppress sila. Hindi. Ang dami na nga nilang mga benefits.
Tsaka, ang sabi di ba nila doon sa Heterosexual Act, yung pinoprotect daw ng rights ng heterosexuals, which, ine-enjoy nila from the very beginning. Kasi ikaw ba, pag pumunta
Oo.
ka sa workplace mo at sinabi mong heterosexual ka, hindi ka naman mawawala ng trabaho ha. On the other hand,
Oo.
if you, as a person, parang like, openly express na homosexual ka, but you have the risk of losing your job. Tsaka ang daming
Oo.
pwedeng mangyari because part ka lang ng LGBTQ plus community. Kaya nga ang daming nagtatago ng sexuality nila, tas gumagawa pa sila ng ibang account sa Facebook para, di ba kasi nagba-background check ang mga companies, ganun. Para lang
Oo.
ma-ensure nila na may pera silang pampakain, makapasok sila sa job nila na yun. Tas ang people of the, ang mga heterosexuals, wala silang treatment na ganun. Hindi nila na-experience yun. So
Yeah.
parang, ano lang, mm,
Nakakainis lang din. Gusto ko nga ito.
oo.
I wanna quote something from what I found in Twitter. Nag-tweet kasi si Attorney Chel no,
Oo, sister
expressing
ni.
expressing what he thinks about this heterosexual act. Let me try to
Mhm.
read it out for you guys.
Okay.
So, open quote. The proposed heterosexual act only serves to legitimize the very real oppression experienced by the LGBTQIA Filipinos now. Ang bill na ito ay nagbubulag-bulagan sa mga nararanasang araw-araw na tinatanggihan ng serbisyo o tinatanggalan ng oportunidad sa edukasyon at trabaho dahil lang sa kanilang sexual orientation o gender identity/expression. Ginagawa nitong legal ang pagkait ng dignidad ng ibang tao. Anuman ang ating pinaniniwalaan, magkakasundo naman siguro tayong mali ito. Imbis
Mhm.
nitong bill, dapat isabatas ang SOGI law.
Yes, correct, Sir Chal. Tsaka, dagdag ko lang, di ba dapat separate ang yung church pati ang
Ayun nga,
state? Yung
yes, it's
state,
like,
kasi ano yun
may
eh,
nabasa din ako doon. Dapat may separation between religious
beliefs,
beliefs and ayun
yung
nga, in the state with their with regards to their policy or
yeah,
lawmaking. Kasi dapat it serves to the people na ayun nga oppressed, kasi you're in a country and if you see your your people suffering or not or they're not given the equal opportunities, syempre you'd want to help them.
right.
Pero yun nga, blatantly nilang tinatanggihan, at sabi nga ni Attorney Cheljak, no, nagbubulag-bulagan sila sa mga nararanasang araw-araw ng problema, which is kaya nga nung
Ay,
nabasa ko
joke lang.
yung
Huwag pala sabihin. Basta parang ano kasi, hindi naman sila yung minority. Pero ginagawa
oo.
nilang parang, takot na takot ba sila? Like, hindi talaga, I don't think na may problema. Parang wala naman ginagawang mali yung community. I just don't
Oo.
think there's something wrong with them. Kasi nabubuhay lang naman sila as they should. The same with the heterosexuals. Pero bakit parang sa
Oo.
bawat kilos, bawat galaw, meron silang hanash, 'di ba?
Oo, hanash.
So
Na
ayun.
it's
Parang
like they're trying, yun, I guess I see that they want to try to uphold these religious beliefs, but then it
mhm,
also invalidates people's of their more serious situations na that affects their life na mismo,
mhm.
'diba?
Kaya nga.
Like it can get really severe to the point that some people would experience mental health problems, and in worst case scenarios even suicide. So yun, so that's why I don't really see anything wrong with the so soji bill being passed.
I think mas viable option yung Soji compared sa heterosexual act. Kasi nga, yung Soji, it's for everyone, heterosexuals included, na pinaglalaban yung rights nila. So parang,
Mm-mm.
ito kasi sa heterosexual act, as nandun na nga sa name niya, heterosexual, Parang
Pero sa mga
sila lang.
heterosexual people lang,
Oo, sila lang. Pero ang SOGI, it includes everyone. So parang,
mm,
'di ba, again, sa heterosexual act, ma-oppress na naman ang mga LGBTQ plus community.
oo.
So
It's like,
ayun.
it's kind of insulting to see this act here while we've been, or while the community's been fighting for the Soji bill for 12 years. Tapos eto, ewan ko kung
Mm.
kung gaano
Tsaka,
katagal tong inaano.
tsaka ang tagal ng pinaglalaban ng LGBTQ plus ka. Ayun nga, na-discuss namin kanina na
Oo.
sobrang tagal na nilang pinaglalaban yung rights nila. Yung rights nila na yung
And
heterosexual na laging enjoy nila since the very beginning. Hindi nila kailangan ipaglaban pa yun. Pero the LGBT community plus community, pinaglalaban pa nila yung rights na dapat na-exercise nila the moment they were born. Ba?
yes, a very big sigh for me.
Mhm. Not slay of them.
Yes.
So, ayun. Enough about that. Mag-move on na
Eh,
tayo.
tayo sa so each segment of our podcast will be sharing some stories from the community and talking about them. Pero initially dapat maghihingi kami sa mga viewers
Callers.
namin.
Oo, sa mga
Ang
callers,
callers ko ba?
viewers. Mga
So,
ganon. Mga
yes.
dear Hasmin. Dear Hasmin moment. Ganon.
So, stay tuned for that din. Magpo-post kami ng publicity material that will be asking for your personal experiences or stories that you would want to share. And don't worry, we'll not be disclosing your personal information or who you are. We'll just be talking about them and telling you our thoughts and insights about them. But for now, we've only just took stories online that I'm going to read out and we're going to talk about it.
Very
Okay?
briefly lang.
Yes, briefly lang, yes.
Mhm.
So let me read our first story. So this story is nakita ko lang to sa online from Insider. So we'll just I guess post the link for sources later on. So here goes. It was supposed to be an idyllic summer. Jace Taylor, an 18-year-old from Washington State, was going to work as a day camp counselor at the first camp and retreats, where he had gone to camp growing up. But on Tuesday, that plan completely changed. Taylor told Insider, the teen was unexpectedly called into a meeting with Darrell Smith, the director of Fear Creek Day Camp. He told me that, open quote, he told me that I was terminated because of my sexual orientation and that they can't have someone that identifies as gay in the leadership position, Taylor said. So there was this Twitter post from Jace stating that, open quote, as a member of the LGBTQ plus community, I want to see change. I'm pissed and frustrated with the first. I dreamt about this for so long that was stripped away from me because I was gay. Ayun. So at that time, he felt devastated. Open quote. Afterwards, I got in my car and started bawling my eyes out. He said, I called my dad, I called my mom, I called a couple of friends that were close to me, and I called my boyfriend and told them about it. End quote. But soon he said that heartbreak turned into feelings of confusion and betrayal as he said the camp staff has felt like a second family to him over the years. Taylor believes he was fired after camp staff members saw a picture he uploaded of himself and his boyfriend on Facebook. In a statement to Newsweek, the camp's executive director confirmed that Taylor was fired for his sexuality. Open quote. When it became evident in the application process that he did not personally align with our statements of faith, in particular one regarding sexuality, we determined we could not use him in this role. End quote. Executive Director Tom Beaumont said. The first is a Christian-affiliated, non-denominational, non-profit Newsweek reported. Under Washington state law, it is illegal to discriminate against an employee based on factors like race, disability, or sexual orientation. Non-profit groups are exempt. And while Taylor, who will attend Eastern Washington University in the fall, says he isn't interested in seeking legal actions, he told Insider that it's important to him that his story gets around because there are so many others like it. Open quote. I'm not the only person in the world that this is happening to. I'm just fortunate enough that someone is picked up my story and others are continuing to pick up my story and share it. I want this to be a beacon for the LGBTQ community that people are recognizing that this is not okay and that things need to change. End quote. So that is where the story ends.
Mm-hmm. Yun na nga. As I have said, like, you know, you can see na may discrimination in the workplace because of one's sexuality.
Like it's a worldwide thing. Hindi lang sa Pilipinas. It also happens in other countries.
Yeah.
Ang malungkot lang dito, even kasi it was said that non-profit organization yung summer camp na yon. Hindi lang nako-cover ng law kasi may law kasi sila that that says here that under Washington state law, illegal daw yung mag-discriminate against an employee based on yun nga factors like race, disability, or sexual orientation. Kaso exempted lang dun yung non-profit groups, which is yun yung summer camp na ina-attend ni Jace. I'm not sure what's the reasoning behind that. Bakit kailangan exempted yung non-profit organizations?
Yeah, pero mali yung ginawa pa rin nila. Like, was there really a need? Kung kaya naman gawin ng tao yung trabaho, bakit pa kailangan? Diba?
Like it's heartbreaking for Jace because he's been there for years. Because it's his childhood place or experience na din. He dreamt of the role and position na kukunin sana niya. Tapos to get him fired for his sexuality. It's sad for him talaga, truly.
So, may iba ka pang stories?
Yes. We have this last story, another story which was also from Insider. Okay, let me start.
Okay.
Seth Owen was a model high school student who earned a 4.61 GPA. Participated in high honor societies, took AP classes and became valedictorian. But at home, his religious parents found out that he was gay and told him to move out. When he applied to his dream school, Georgetown University, the school gave him a financial aid package that was based on his parents' income, even though he was not living with them. He attempted to petition the package, explaining he has no contact with his family, but the high school wouldn't budge. Owen's teachers stepped in and started a GoFundMe page to raise money for Owen's tuition. The goal was to raise $20,000, but Owen's inspiring story prompted people to donate over $50,000.
50,000.
Like it was 30,000 more from their original goal, which was 20,000. Owen said he is thankful for his teachers' support and would tell his younger self to remain strong. Open quote. I would tell that sophomore kid to hold their high head, roll their shoulders back, and be exactly who they are. End quote. Owen told NBC News, it's difficult to be who you genuinely are when you have all this pressure around you from all these different people in your life. But if you become comfortable with who you are, you're that much more equipped to face these difficult times. End quote.
That's so nice naman. Tinuro siya ng mga teachers niya.
Yes.
Unexpectedly, I didn't think na, akala ko mga fellow students or like friends, pero
Yung
teachers.
mag-help. Kasi
It
nga,
is so
if
nice.
it's a very bright and smart student and mawi-waste lang yung opportunities, yung skills and knowledge kasi hindi na siya sinuportahan ng mismong parents niya.
Yeah.
It's kind of absurd. He could have been like kasi a child that bright would be beneficial to help and contribute to the society.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Parang it's
Kung
very,
iisipin,
parang ano lang, nakakalungkot lang. Kasi sayang ng opportunity just because sa ano niya, sa sexual
yeah,
orientation niya, papakawalan nila yung ano niya,
itatakwil nila yung anak nila.
oo. Like 4.61. It has honor societies.
Di ba?
Girl, valedictorian pa siya. Oh my God. Me could never.
Yes, di ba ano siya? Like, sa kanila, I'm not sure about the grading system, but I think 5 yung pinakamataas.
Yeah,
Pero kapag
alam ko,
naka 4, pag naka 4
Mataas
ka,
na yung
taas
4.
na rin nun.
Mataas na talaga yung 4.
4.61 yung GPA niya.
Kaya
Sana all na lang. Di ba, kung siguro, ganito sa Pilipinas, you could have cultivated these children for them to grow smarter, to be someone who could contribute to this society. Pero to strip them of, yun nga,
their rights.
Their rights. And
rights,
even,
parang,
kahit hindi rin yung rights, even in the environment in general, if you wouldn't make a safe space for people like who are part of the LGBT community, they'd feel outcasted, uncomfortable, which also supports what Owen said here na kapag nahihirapan ka daw to be who you are, tapos may mga dagdag pang mga pressures sa buhay, mas mahihirapan ka talaga. Kaya kapag daw mas comfortable ka kung sa identity mo ay kung sino ka, tapos additionally, kung mas maganda pa yung environment mo, edi mas magiging well-equipped ka na harapin yung mga challenges and face ng buhay as a whole. Like kumbaga ba na parang...
Kasi if you keep forcing yourself to be someone you're not, parang mas sa katawan. Parang nakaka-drain talaga. Yeah.
Nakaka-drain, suffocating. That you have to like act someone who you are. Like, hindi mo na-express. You know, like, there's like, in mental health, it's commonly said na it's helpful to express your feelings, who you are, ay yung nararamdaman mo about a certain situation, your problems. I think it also applies the same with sexuality or in this situation. Kapag you keep bottling up, suppressing, being someone you're not, like doing that for a whole day, acting who you aren't, like at the end of the day, parang madidrain ka kasi sobrang uncomfortable ng whole process ng araw na yon. Diba?
Yeah.
Literally suffocating.
Real.
So yun, parang I hope sa Pinas din.
Siyempre, meron naman siguro mga taong ganun. Hindi lang natin nakikita, pero never know.
Siguro. Pero it wouldn't really hurt to like, I don't know, promote it more, make it more widespread. I'm pretty sure naman na may mga taong din naman, of course, tumutulong. May mga communities na rin naman for LGBT people. Pero how about the places that can't find people like them that can't find communities that would accept them. Kasi 'di ba nasa community sila where they're oppressed, where they don't belong, or where they aren't accepted.
Yeah. So, medyo lengthy ang
Ayun.
discussion.
Oo nga. Nakakaano lang kasi. It's like a burning, like, I wanted to discuss this with a burning passion.
Okay.
So I guess that concludes our very first podcast episode. But stay tuned this Friday for our episode 2 where we'll be inviting another guest.
That's right. This guest, baka kilala niyo pa siya kasi unang-una, kilala niyo siya kasi malakas ang boses niya. Super bubbly ang personality.
Yes.
Tapos, ano pa Yuta, di ba kilala mo din to?
Yes, of course I know this person. I don't want to disclose, pero I don't disclose, so I'm going to use a gender neutral pronoun.
Correct.
They are a person who's been in like a lot of extracurriculars in the school. They are part of the student council, a head of a particular community. So, hulaan nyo na lang. And they are also a head of another one in Endak Lasaliano Dance Company.
Oh, ayun. May first clue na kayo. Indak.
Multi-purpose siya. So, madaming mga taong may kilala dyan.
Sino kaya doon? So,
Yes.
ayun. Please stay tuned nga for our second episode, which is called Stereotypes and How to Avoid Them, coming this Friday.
So once again, this is your host, Reardon.
And I'm Anna Avalon from the House of Ganna, bringing you information about the LGBTQ plus community. See you all this Friday.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.